In northern Ghana, small-scale farmers are noticing changes in their climate. The rains aren't as predictable and it's hotter than it used to be. These weather changes are a big deal for the farmers because they rely mostly on their crops for survival. The changing weather and increased heat are signs of climate change, a problem Ghana's farmers face daily. Global CO2 emissions, particularly from high energy-consuming regions like Europe and America, have had negative impacts on lives in Ghana and the African continent. Even though Africa only produces 4% of global greenhouse gas emissions, it suffers heavily from climate change. African economies have lost between 5 and 15% due to these changes. Farming in northern Ghana has always been difficult. Most farmers are smallholder farmers who rely on rain-fed agriculture. More than 90% of the population in northern Ghana have farming as their main income. With the negative consequences of climate change, their livelihoods are at risk, and projections say that it will only get worse.
The impact of climate change globally is great, and the situation is the same when we come to Ghana. Climate change has impacted a lot on all development spheres in Ghana, and this has to do with health issues, also flooding causing the collapse of houses of people. And climate change is also causing people, especially youth and women, to migrate from their communities to other places, and all that is affecting their livelihoods and also making them more poor.
The small-scale farmers in rural areas of northern Ghana are uniquely affected by climate change. Climate impacts like floods and long droughts destroy their crops, leading to food shortages and loss of income. When the main source of livelihood is lost due to climate changes, the people in the vulnerable communities, including farmers, have to resort to other livelihood ventures which are not friendly to the environment, like charcoal curing and felling of trees for fuel wood on commercial scale. Such economic activities reinforce the impacts of climate change. Changing Lives in Innovative Partnerships, a non-profit organization in northern Ghana, and its Danish partner, Ghana Venskabs, have over the years introduced climate-adaptive technologies to smallholder farmers in northern Ghana to improve upon household resilience to the impacts of climate change.
The vulnerability assessment looked into finding out how vulnerable communities and smallholder farmers are differently impacted by climate change, and what appropriate measures or strategies are available in order to build the adaptive capacity of these vulnerable smallholder farmers and communities. So after doing this, a number of recommended appropriate climate resilience strategies were identified, and this included dry season vegetable cultivation, livestock production and sale, beekeeping, instituting a multi-stakeholder climate change platform, among others. So based on these, the Empowerment for Life program then did demonstrations in order for these smallholder farmers and vulnerable communities to learn from these demonstrations in order to increase their resilience to climate change impact in the communities.
te pitu lele ke jakaba ta te ta ko ko gutung tung ba mo pone te ke mambe bung tite ko bala kama te na malama te ke kamba mung ma jewe ta to ko na mo patunyo ke tite ta patunyo ni kene ye ke tung wa ma pa to ko na be ko jo ter ta kuche to jo ngani beni konjo ke beni mo ampone ke benin kama ta te ma bir kana wa bon to na mo nga no wa mo le pite ti je ka wo te pambe no mo te te gira ba ka te ma nya ko na pon ko ke da ti ke bin o su ko wa bele wa mo bo je ka en ma ko to ko na ke de lo o nsu ko be na pon ti je ka gba nga to do ka te ka ma nya ti je ka gba ta ma gba ke che ke na yo bi ne i ngona ke fa ti ma gba ke na yo ke bi ne ta ko nten ke ti na len
en yidela pu parlam ne ka ma ayidan garla ne ka sara kana ta di ni nyar sham kan ben yar la ka so che kan lab gaw la angane ka te kwarla shar den ne kan te labren ne kan fa na pamche kan chang nte jwande en kwara jar ma ka amfana yirna minin behden yiba nyar sham bi chang shukur kan yiba nyar sham terba ma yi ma sun na law gaw man ma amfana kweba kan ndere dadia nzan chang gaw ma ko
Yaki NGO Silver dan kebel la trete empowerment for life yap. Bejone ntrem ka jo ki jo tira pa jo na tumbo yaki bene trete yansan inang ba sha kirim. Inang ba si ba ma kirim mo. Nenga ngati ngati ya jatiya. Bela nan ku kanya ne buya ta kanya ne kya. Nan buya ti ya jati binan ku ba bin le nyo. Ba bin ne ba kan kam ntange butum ba bun fine na tup kon ka bin le nyo. Ka bin fatreza ko punde kwande mba cha ne mo cha na nya ndete. Tingman ka kan kabde inang ba sa kiri ya kretite ke te kiri inang ba sia tumo kan puntunyu ne manga tinya ne ki tuju tinyu bampun elewan tiar kuse eleya tilman ne tr nde champun kabiya te kan tijika ne pun tilman tr nde champun kabiya bumbom sku ke tr nde champun ne bupu dam mbeya tilman kuse ne kedebil eleya kedebil ku kuju eleya yon kuju tiri to ke tere trotwa ne bunum pungande le nyamil ne pun ke nyane inang basi a kirum bampun ele nyi ne punga tujo kana na fande ya.
As we gaze towards the future, the call for climate action, climate financing, and ending climate injustice must be amplified. The time to act against climate change is now.